What's up, everyone? Today we're just going to kind of nerd out about favorite Pokemon. I like a lot of different Pokemon, but these are my favorites. If we're talking non-legendary, non-mythical, I gotta go with my boy Charizard. I know it's kind of a basic opinion to have, but one, he's popular for a reason. And two, there's a lot of Pokemon with designs that have that one thing about them I don't really like, even if they're some of my favorites. And Charizard doesn't really have an aspect about his design that I really don't like. Also, his Mega Forms just look awesome, dude. He has really cool Mega Forms, and he has a good shiny as well. That's one thing, like you can actually tell the difference between his shiny and his not shiny form. And I think that that's cool. I think that every single design aspect about Charizard, I think it looks like it's there intentionally. The flame on his tail, how that has to do with like his story and like biology, and like even other details like the fact that the his like underside is rounded at the top instead of being like jagged like some other dragon Pokemon. So he doesn't look too intimidating, but he still looks intimidating enough to know that he's a threat. So I really like Charizard if we're talking non-legendary, non-mythical. Now, if we're talking legendary and mythical, and I had to have like a mythical Pokemon specifically as a pet, I'm gonna go with Mew. I like how the shiny one looks more, but the pink one's more nostalgic, so there is that. But Mew is cool. He could teleport me places and that'd be convenient. But he's also just basically a regular cat. And I feel like that would be easy to get acclimated to. Just having a pretty much regular pet, but it's not a regular pet. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. But no, Mew would be cool, especially the teleport. That would be so useful. You wouldn't have to pay for no gas. You wouldn't have to. You could travel the world. You could travel wherever you want. It'd be nice, Also, if we're talking legendary Pokemon, if I had to have any legendary Pokemon as a pet or to bring into battle, I'm going with Uxie. He looks really cool. First off, he looks wise, which makes sense because he's like the representation of knowledge in the Pokemon universe. But he's also he's got a good balance between like powerful, elegant, and cute, all in the same. And I think I think it's just like the perfect Pokemon, pretty much. His shiny form is struggling though. Don't talk to me about his shiny form, man. He looks like he took a bath in mac and cheese, and I don't like it. I don't like it very much. The original Uxie form is a lot more clean, a lot more sleek. Ooh, how do you like that transition though? Hey, what's up? I forgot to say something about Uxie. I also really like the fact that he's the representation of like knowledge, right? And I mentioned that, but that might be a reference to a like certain type of angel in the Bible that like also represents knowledge in a way. I don't know if that's exactly true, but in my head canon, like it just makes me like Uxie more. So I don't know if it was really inspired by that, but I wanted to mention that because I forgot to in the video. So back to your regularly scheduled programming. But if I had to bring any mythical Pokemon into battle, I'm gonna have to go with Arceus or Arceus, whatever you say. I'm not gonna judge you because I've said both. He also has the same issue as Uxie though, where like his shiny form looks like he took a bath in mac and cheese. Then I'm not totally sure what Pokemon's deal is with like taking white Pokemon and then making them, yellow. But Arceus is cool. I like how they didn't just give him a crown, they gave him like the little ring around his torso, which begs the question, you know, like how the heck does he lay down or sit down or, you know, whatever. I mean, these are the real questions the world needs answering, if you ask me. Way more important than any other question. But no, Arceus is really cool. He has that cool, like, mystical vibe about him, but you can tell he's strong. He strikes those two balances very well. And that's the thing about his design that I like the most, is the fact that there's a lot that you kind of have to interpret. And the same thing goes, actually, that's kind of applicable to, like, all of the Pokemon on this list, you know? There's a certain level of mystical that you kind of have to make your own opinion for. But those are my favorite Pokemon. But in the comments, I want you guys to tell me what your favorite Pokemon is. Tell me why it's your favorite Pokemon, all that jazz. Because I think that asking a person what their favorite Pokemon is honestly like one of the best questions you could ask a person, because you get to learn so much about them you wouldn't expect to learn. Like, asking a person what their favorite Pokemon is and why lets you in on that person's priorities, you know, in terms of what they look for in art, which is usually an indicator of what they look for, like, in real life too, you know? Like, if a person, let's say you talk to a person and they really like a Pokemon, and the main reason they like that Pokemon is because it's really cute. Well, you can learn then why they like cute things. You know, maybe they grew up with a certain pet and it reminds them of that pet and that pet was cute. Or maybe they just prioritize cute aesthetics over grunge-esque or, you know, alternative aesthetics. And they feel like they can relate to that Pokemon in that way. You know, there's a whole slew of reasons that a person can like a different Pokemon, but that's why I encourage you guys to go in the comments and tell me what your favorite Pokemon is. And if you like this video, you should subscribe. Come on, you knew that was coming. You knew that was coming. That was a good segue. All right, see y'all.